So a couple things I want to go over before we do this second drill. I saw there was some confusion with the max width and the width for the container. So all really the max width does is like, well, it specifies a max width. So in other words, like when we were doing the container and we were given it exactly 970 pixels, right? So if I did exactly 970, where's it at? Or exactly 1020, either one, right? As soon as we go less than 1020, it still keeps that width. So these list items go off the screen, right? So all max width does is it says the max the width is going to be is 1020. So when the screen's greater than 1020, you know, it stays at 1020, but then when the screen gets less to 1020, then it's saying, you know, adjust to fill the screen. See, now they don't go off the side of the page. All right, so that's why he did max width, to make this list more responsive, or to make this header more responsive. That's why I did that. Right? You could do responsive, you know, design styling, and you probably still, you know, would if you recreated this site and go in and say at certain, you know, screen widths to change the container size or the text size or whatever. Does that make sense? And then two, I redid some of the CSS and HTML with the reset included in here, and floating this H1 over to the left in case it was a little more familiar to some of you guys, since that's the way we learned it earlier in the week. And I committed that, so you'll see you know, challenge 1 commit with reset, float, and something else I put in there. Right? Anybody have questions on that? Yes.
So that whole debate whether the width or that we were talking about, does that only pertain to floats, or does it also
On the container?
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically with this container, and the reason why we call it a container is when you wrap your content in a container, right? You're saying I want my content to stay within this width. So this pertains to anything, like the floats, or because it's going to stay within that, or flex, or however you do it, right? Like you always see Treehouse has a container on their site, or, you know, I'm saying container, but some element that's keeping it. See, there's no text that goes over here, right? There's no text that goes to the right of the screen, right? And when you scroll down, you'll see that as well. So, right? So it's all staying within a certain width. That's what we mean by container, because if you didn't have that container, then it would be pushed all the way out to the edge, and it wouldn't be, you know, as good to look at aesthetically, right? That's the whole purpose of it, of the container. All right, so exercise number 2. Whoa. Where'd you go? Exercise number 2 is we're going to remake that header with flex. Okay? So if you didn't have it on the first one, what I want you to do is just go to GitHub.com. So follow along with me on this. Type in R. Bonhardt. Click on R. Bonhardt, and then you can go into my repositories. And you can see test.github.io. Right, and then you can just go here to treehouse.html, and you can copy this entire document here. Right? So you have this entire document. I'm going to create a new document in my root folder, my test.github.io folder, and just paste it. And I'll just save it as Treehouse Challenge 2. And then I'm going to do the same thing with my CSS. I'm going to create a new CSS file and say Treehouse Challenge 2.css. All right. So now we're all starting from the same playing field. That way we all have the same HTML, right? And then all I want you to do is just do it in Flex. So I think for this one with Flex, we should get a little less time. So let's do about, because you already have all the HTML down, so that was about half the time. So let's go ahead and do about 15 minutes for that.